Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and today we're going to talk about farming Doki and Gray. We're essentially going to talk about the Doki experience as a free-to-play player or low spender who might not have access to those premium SSR units that make this fight, I'm not going to say trivial because it's a hard fight, but make it a lot easier. We are about 11 and a half days away from launch of this game, and many people, myself included, consider Doki the most important thing to farm in Etheria Restart. Like when you're gearing up your modules, this is super important, and the game is going to give you Gray, and he can solo carry this. Like, that's the deal. I just cleared all the levels of Doki today with the team I'm about to show you on auto, and that's a big deal. You need auto fights to win because you need to be able to put it on like background repeat and let it farm for you. Look at this team. This team is 4 SR characters and Ling Luo, who we are all going to get for free. Gray, the only carry in this group, also we get for free, and yes, I built him full carry, and yes, he can do it. So here's how this fight plays out. You're gonna bring a healer, which I think for this squad, for this like level of team, you do need a healer. There are ways to optimize this run. There are so many ways to optimize this run in terms of team building, but if you're trying to do the SR baby squad, you do need Mommy Ling Luo to take care of them. Then you're gonna have a turn manipulator. I brought Chiaki the Echo for that here. Could be replaced by anybody else that could do that job, including this is an area where you could upgrade her to those like super premium, the SSRs like Freya, Lily, those kind of people. She could be replaced by them. Now, another area where I think I'm being a little wasteful with this group, but I wanted to show that it's possible, is running both Kraken and Kazuyo the Reverie. They are both here for crowd control. You could definitely drop Kraken for another carry. Ideally, that other carry would be somebody like Real Mocha. This team right here cuts this run in half. Like if you just swap those two out, this run is cut in half, but I am trying to simulate what it would be like to not have her. Because if you don't pick her off the select summon banner, there's a real chance, especially as somebody who's not buying more polls, that you just don't have her. Messiah would work there. There's so many DPS characters you could slot in for the second controller, but he does make the run safer. You could also use another healer here or anything. Kazuyo the Revelry is my favorite control character for this fight, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then Gray's my carry. Let me turn auto off for a second, and let me show you how this plays out. So you want your opener to go first. Here, that's Chiaki the Echo. So she's going to boost my turn gauge. That's great. Then here's Kazuyo. If you've never played with this girl before, she feels tailor-made for this fight. She is going to put almost everybody to sleep. Great. You know what she did though? She missed somebody. But do you know what the AI can be pretty good at doing? You got your backup crowd control. I'm gonna have Kraken. Oh, Kraken resisted freezing that guy. Oh, dang it. Okay, don't wait. Just smack somebody. Now watch this. Here's really the showcase of this video. Gray. All right, Gray. A lot of people consider Gray like a sub DPS kind of support character with his crit buff. Watch this damage. Watch what he's about to do to this team. Watch this. Bam. Bam, that's half HP with one of his moves. Now, notice the one that didn't get debuffed basically took no damage. If you're new to this game, if you're new to this fight, that's the mechanic. All of these mobs have this buff on them right here, defensive stance. Oh, nope, that's not it. This buff right here, Empowered Shell, reduced damage taken by 90%. You remove that with crowd control effects. So let me get back to my crowd controller. One of the reasons I love Kazuyo the Revelry, especially if you're playing this on manual, is her Q is a single target damage that also can sleep. Now she missed it right there, and sometimes, especially in the hardest levels of this fight, things will be resisted. That's why I have the 2 control characters, Kraken and Kazuyo. And then at this point, I can just hit auto. The fight will just play out. You know, Mommy Ling Luo will keep everybody alive. Gray will keep killing people. And like I said, it takes about 5 minutes for them to clean that up. And they were winning it at like I give it like an 85-90% clip, which is pretty good. What I want to say is you can optimize that team in so many ways, like what I was just talking about, by adding better characters, but it's doable with those. The best teams for this are teams with like, you know, the Messiahs and Real Mochas and stuff like that, but you might not have access to those. So I want to show you what can do it. Now, I want to talk about building Gray a little bit, and then I want to address the elephant in the room that comes up every time I make a video from this server. That is the account that I'm playing on. Look, I know that the only account I have access to right now has maxed out characters, right? Like they're all 5-star, they're all level 50, and all of their prowesses are maxed. look, you're not going to probably have that on all your especially on all of the characters you use on live. So to kind of try to compensate for that, to make this as real of a test as possible, I made sure I was doing these fights on the hardest difficulty in the game, and I gimped the modules a little bit. None of these characters were running like a Swift Raid or that like premium matrix effect that you can only get from the Inferno fights. I kept it to things like Onslaught, Keen Eye, and if we look at like the support characters I was running, I kept their module sets to like Wellspring, Swift Rush, even like not giving them all of the bonuses from those. The shells, I tried to use mid-game shells. Now I know they're maxed, but you're going to be leveling these things up to max level at some point, especially if you're trying to farm Inferno. So I tried to make it as realistic of a simulation as possible, knowing that like this account it's purposefully loaded. I wish they would let us unlevel the units, but they don't. So the TLDR, like what if you're just watching this and you want to know like what's the point of this video at all? The point of this video is build freaking Gray. He is excellent for that fight, especially as somebody who is a free-to-play player or a low spender. You do not have to get Real Mocha from the Select Summon banner to beat Doki Doki. You just need Gray, a healer, like any of them, and eventually you're going to have the best one or one of the best ones in Ling Luo. So those two, some turn order manipulator character, whether it's Chiaki the Echo like I was using, or you lucked into a more premium one like Lily, fine, use them. That's great too. And then I would recommend at least, you have to have at least one control character. I would use Kazuyo the Revelry for that hard crowd control to remove that buff from the mobs. You can definitely run two, whether your second one is an Obel or a Kraken like I was running, or I think if you're trying to make faster runs, the best way is probably to run a second DPS. The best one obviously being Real Mocha, but especially if you have one that has elemental advantage, and you can sort by that in here. One of these guys, right? Let me get my big face out of the way. One of these green people over here, Rahu, Freya would be a nice addition to that team, honestly. Selence, like, you guys still know about Selence. I think there's potential there with her, but Kloss is really good for that fight. But if you don't have any of those and you have to deal with the SR squad, there's an example of a team that can beat Doki Doki. That's how you build and set up that team, and that's how you do it. There you go. All right, thank you all for watching. Oh, meant to put my face on the screen. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have a great holiday weekend. I'm going to keep trying to do these daily uploads as we count down to Etheria restart. If there's anything you want me to test, like if there's a team comp you want to see or some like theorycraft thing you want to test out, drop me a comment or hit me up on Discord. I'm happy to test them on this realm that I have access to. Keep in mind, I can't unlevel the characters to test them, so you will get a character tested at their like max level. I still think there's value there. I do. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Peace.